Hey everyone, welcome back to the Board Game Spotlight. Today we're going to look at Space Explorers. This is coming from 25th Century Games. It's for 2 to 4 players and it plays in about 20 to 40 minutes. So let's take it to the table and I'm going to tell you about it. Space Explorers is an engine building, resource management card game. You are going to try to gain as many specialists as possible in order to accomplish these projects, which are all historically accurate projects from the space race in the 50s, 60s era of space exploration. These specialists are going to give you different abilities. Some of them are going to give you an ability you can use on your turn. Others are going to give you resource bonuses. And you're going to try to gain as many of these specialists into your research center in order to meet the requirements of the projects. Now, the game is going to end in one of two ways. Either all of the projects are completed or a player has 12 specialists inside of their research center. Now, each player is going to start the game with one card in their hand, and they're each going to have a set of tokens available to them. Now, on your turn, you must do one of two things. You have to take a card from the market or the top of the deck, or you must play a card from your hand or from the market. Now, to play a card, there are 3 different ways that you can pay for a card. If we had this builder in our research center, in this hub, in the red hub here, they're going to give us a bonus of a cog and a helmet. Now, we can use those resource icons in conjunction with any tokens we have, and we can also discard cards from our hand to gain 2 wild symbols. So we could use this card. We have 1 resource icon. That means that we can also get a price reduction on a card that matches that symbol. So we have 1 red symbol. That means on a red card, we get a price reduction starting from the bottom up. So we pay 1 less cog. This gives us a cog and a space helmet, so we already get an extra space helmet. So all we have to do is pay for these 3 resources. Well, we discarded this card. That gives us 2 wild resources. So we could pay for these 2, which gives us 1 resource that we have to pay. We can spend one of our tokens. Now, this token, anytime you spend a token, it's going to go over to the player on your left. They're going to have the opportunity to spend any tokens they have, and those tokens are going to go around the table as long as players are using them. Again, sharing is caring. So once we've met the requirements of a card, it's then going to go into our research center. Now, this is important because we've now covered up these resource icons, which means we no longer get that benefit. But we've also scored a pretty good builder who's going to give us victory points depending on the number of symbols we have at the end of the game. Now, Space Explorers is very icon heavy. There are a lot of icons that you need to track, though it is very simple and intuitive to do so. Each card has a number at the top right. If you ever have a question about what an ability does, the game comes with a sheet that tells you exactly what every ability in the game is. And as you learn the game, it's going to be a lot easier, more intuitive, and fluid to follow the progression of the game. So after you've taken your turn, it's then going to go to the next player who goes through the same process. Again, very simple. You either take a card from the top of the deck or the market into your hand, or you play a card from your hand or the market into your tableau. The game's going to finish when these 4 projects are completed or a player has 12 specialists inside their tableau. At the end of the game, you're going to add together all the victory points you've accumulated. So in the top left of a tile or card, it's going to note how many victory points you have. The player with the most victory points is going to be declared the winner. Space Explorers is a crunchier version of Splendor. There are a lot more combos because most of these cards are going to come with some sort of ability that you can utilize. So you're gaining more synergy, more combos. Additionally, the price reduction on the cards is bottom up, which is pretty thinky. You definitely have to keep that in mind on how you are actually reducing the cost of your cards. You don't want to cover up your card that you might be using for resources too early in the game, but you also don't want to pass up a card that may grant you a lot of victory points at the end of the game. Overall, the game is historically accurate to the space race of the 1950s-60s era. The artwork looks fantastic. So if Space Explorers looks like a game that's for you, if you're interested in knowing more about this game, take a look at the description below for a link to their Kickstarter campaign. This has been Derek with the Board Game Spotlight, and this has been your preview of Space Explorers.